All right. It feels like we haven't done this in 1,000 years. How the hell are you for
Oh,
TW119?
man. So TW119 is hell to get started. I tell you that, man. So take people through where we are. So we're on Sunday. We're recording on Sunday.
Mhm.
The reason we did not record yesterday is because I missed my train yesterday morning. So I was still in, not Houston. Where was I? I was in New Orleans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Okay. Why'd you miss your train?
Uh, you know how conventions go, man. You're hanging out and then
Okay.
it gets late and then you go pack your stuff and you're like, oh, I could take a nap for a second. Except dummy here didn't set the alarm on the Pixel, which has been the
Uh,
phone that has been my daily carry.
yeah.
So I was up and made it to the station before my train left, but it was too late to get me on the train because I had
Mm.
bags to check and all of that. So I had to extend my stay. Fortunately, nobody had not already given my room away, uh, in the system. So I was able to get the same room back.
Huh. So did you spend one more night there? Or?
Yep. Stayed one more night because there was no other way to get from out of there. I looked at Greyhound. So basically what I did is when I called back to the hotel, I said, hey, I was in, this room. Can I extend the stay one more night? And they were like, sure, no problem. I said, all right, I'm on my way back. I got back to the room. I first booked so first thing I did is start looking around to see if there was any other way to get out of New Orleans yesterday. Plane, or I'd even looked at Greyhound buses. Greyhound was just too ridiculous and the price was nearly $200 and
Ah.
it was going to take nearly 24 hours in one case.
Oh.
And another case, it would have taken well over 24 hours. To get home. So I was like,
Okay.
yeah, we're not doing that. I don't want to ride a bus anywhere. We definitely
Nope.
not finna sit on it that long and hang out in a bus station for however many layover hours. Plane prices were still ridiculous. And I had too much stuff to play that game of like, well, let me go up here and see if somebody doesn't show up and if I can get the cheap flight
Ah.
deal
Yep.
that you get
Yep.
sometimes with like Southwest. And I think maybe Delta does that too. Also, there were no direct flights. There are literally none
Mm.
from
Mm.
Louisiana's airport to Birmingham. Everybody had a layover and all of them were stupid and ridiculous and I had to change planes. So I said, okay, we'll go move a train till tomorrow.
Yeah.
That should work. And I called up Amtrak because I could no longer change my ticket in the system, to see if they could help me with that. So I wouldn't have to just buy a whole new ticket. I could just move my current reservation. Guess what? There's no, what is it? Economy class, seats
Oh.
left for Sunday.
Oh.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to sleep because I really didn't sleep. So I'm going to
Yeah.
sleep. I had her book me a ticket for Monday just so I had that slot saved for Monday. And I said, you know what? I'm going to sleep and I'll figure it out when I get up. Got up, still with no trains on Sunday.
Did you get woke up by the alarm?
No, I just
Okay.
went to sleep. Like,
Okay.
yeah, this was around like maybe 12-ish at that point, like
Right.
12 noon. So I went to sleep and I think I got up maybe like 4:30-ish or
No.
something. Yeah, it was around 4:30 because I was thinking about hitting up, Starbucks for a coffee. And then I decided I really didn't want to move that much yet. So what I ended up doing, because I did need to be back home today, like,
Yeah.
for several reasons. I didn't need to be on the train coming back on Monday. So I just booked a not terribly expensive, but more money than I would have voluntarily have spent up under other circumstances to get a sleeper car.
Okay. 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 And so you left early Sunday morning?
Yep. So I hopped on the train this morning at the appropriate time because I did not go to sleep at all.
Because you could sleep on the train. Oh.
Exactly. That was the plan. I was like, look, I'll just hang out, hung out with, JJ and a few other people for a little while. And then I think we kind of broke up around like 4-ish.
Uh-huh.
And I went back to the room, make sure I didn't forget anything, which I did almost forget stuff. So there was stuff I had hanging in the closet I was about to forget. So I grabbed that stuff like, oh, if I would have caught the train, I'd have left this. And kind of puttered around a bit, listened to a couple of podcasts and just basically kind of screwed around until it was close enough time that I wouldn't be at the train station forever. But I left the hotel like 7:30 and,
Okay.
somebody giving me the idea. I was like, I really don't want to go sleep in the train station. It's like, if you really need to go to sleep, you should go to the train station first and then go to sleep. And I was like, yeah, but I'll wake up and my train will be going. So
Yeah. And then you'll be in the same situation, but this time you won't have a hotel room to go back to.
Right. So I just went to went there, got on the train, got my sleeper car, got breakfast. So here's a nice thing about the sleepers I wasn't aware of. So your meals are free.
Okay.
So I got a free breakfast. I ate that and then I went to sleep. And
did they tell you it was included, or were you like in that awkward situation where you're like, "Oh, I kind of want this breakfast, but I don't want to pay train prices for it"?
Oh no, they told me it was included.
Okay.
Like when I was on the train, like and it's there on the site as well. I just wasn't paying attention. I was like, nah, shit, I'll just book this ticket and. Oh no, let me say that again, because that all shit slipped in there, and it was very close together. It's also on the website clearly that like meals are included if you kind of drill down. But when I was booking the ticket, I was like, I just need to grab this ticket before somebody else takes it, because apparently this train is full. I don't know where everybody's trying to go, but also found out that train goes all the way to New York eventually.
Okay.
It takes a very long way to get there, but
yeah, that's the case with Amtrak though. Well, good. I'm glad you made it home, ish, kind of. So you haven't been home for very long.
Nope, I have not been home for very long. And then we get in here to go set up the thing. I threw my boom arm up. It doesn't want to cooperate the way that I want to hang it up here and use it. So I'm holding the microphone.
So it won't just hang down in front of your mouth like you want it to.
Nope, it's down too low. Like it. So I'm gonna have to play around with that, see if I can get that working. And then of course the internet's out because it's about to storm. So we are currently coming to you in your ears right now. If you hear this show, I was using the hotspot on my Pixel 9 Pro.
Yeah, I noticed you switched from iMessages to RCS. And I'm like, oh, he must be using the Pixel. That's interesting.
Yep. So switched over to the Pixel, I think the day before I got ready to leave, and went back to the Pixel. And I said, I'm just going to carry. I had the iPhone with me. Mm-hmm. One reason I did that is because I did use the iPhone in the exhibit hall for checkouts. And that kept me from having to get, interruptions with calls and messages or whatever going on besides me trying to check people out. And I figured, there's not terribly much I have to do with the Pixel. And for a few situations, I did pull out the iPhone because it does have a SIM in it with a small amount of data. So, like when I got ready to leave the train station to go to the hotel on that Monday, it wasn't showing me Google Pay as an option on the Pixel to pay for my Lyft. So I went to the iPhone and paid for it with Apple Pay because I was like, I'm not going to stand out here and type this card number in because I don't even remember it.
Yeah.
And so, we're on the hotspot of the Pixel. The Pixel's been fun to use. I did actually set up Starbucks account on there, and I think I used it maybe once to order a coffee because, JJ paid for coffee most of the week, so didn't have to do that.
Nice.
But yeah, all in all, good trip.
Very successful from what I have read. Very successful. So that's positive.
We did quite a few sales down there. We met some people. Got to see a few devices.
Okay.
We'll talk about those maybe next week because I'm not sure what I can and can't talk about at this point. I did see the Giga Glasses though, so I guess we can.
You did finally get to get your hands on those?
Yeah, I did get to get a hands on.
What do you think? What do you think?
So first, they need to go back to wraparound frames. I actually talked to Kevin Chow, who I've known of in the blind community for a while, but had never met. So me and him, like we kind of started nerding out about what we wanted to see the glasses do. He also thinks they should go back to, he said there was at some point early on a prototype that was like the more wraparound style frames. And he says he hopes they go back to that. I said, yeah, because I don't like those little corners of light poking in my eyeballs because it hurts.
Right.
All in all for the glasses, they're still a little laggy. They definitely need to tune the microphones when you're in live mode because it picks up everybody else around you talking. So while you're trying to get your query in and it starts telling you, the answers to your queries, then somebody else in the room says something and it's like, I'm going to start over with this now. So that was some feedback that was given. I think they need to kind of rethink the button mappings for how you switch to different modes. And and it was said by another person as well. I mean, I guess like JJ said also, like they should come up with like some type of menu. So like maybe you double click or, give it a gesture to bring
Right.
up a menu, and then you just use the button to navigate through the menu and select your option or something, as opposed to this, double click for this, and then you got to double click to get out, and then click it 3 times to get into this mode. And then you got like, no, that's too much.
It's too convoluted to get the
Yeah.
information. My initial feedback, because I played with them at ACB as well, is you need to figure out the sound, because that's my issue with Meta Ray-Bans, and I think I'm going to run into this. Thankfully, slash possibly not thankfully, I got to check them out in a quiet room. So I was running back and forth between rooms, and I had some downtime, and I forget the gentleman's name, but one of the founders told me what he was doing as I was walking down the hallway, and I'm like, oh, sweet, free coffee? Yeah, I'll step in here and chat with you for a few minutes, and kind of want to put these glasses on. So I put them on, and I found them to be fairly quiet, like the Meta Ray-Bans, but they sound good, but I think that like in an airport, I would struggle hearing them.
Yeah, I think in louder world environments, it would be difficult to hear them as well. But they won't have any problem hearing anybody around you and what they're saying. So you may not get your question answered, but you'll get that person's question over there answered, maybe.
What I do like about the current iteration of the live AI, and this could have been playing into what you were running into too, or whoever was running into with it, listening to other people, is you don't have to keep querying it. And that was pretty cool. Like if I turned my head, it would describe him sitting next to me, and then I'd turn my head the other way and it would start reading the text. I'm like, this is what we're looking for, Meta. Like this is what we want.
Yeah, and it's pretty, and JJ was able to verify because I think you guys got to see him at CSUN, or I know he did, and they have improved the speed, because he said they were much laggier when he got a hands on with them at CSUN this year. So but I did appreciate that. Like you just turn your head and it starts to identify what's there or read the paper, do different things like that. Very cool. The features they're adding or that they have in right now are great features to have. Just some little tweaks here and there. It was mentioned that they do know they need to kind of tweak the microphones. So that there's more of a noise canceling situation happening there. So it's only picking up your voice. For sure. But yeah, all in all, I think they're headed in the right direction. Like I definitely am excited to see what they're making. Cause like you, I was like, this is what we wanted. Like, scrap some Meta glasses, which I hadn't put mine on in months anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since Meta told Leo, we may use your data to do blah. I was like, yep, we're done deleting your app.
It's funny. I took my Ray-Bans with me, but I didn't use them once. Well, no, I wore them all the way to Dallas, and then they went into their case and sat on the nightstand. I just didn't use them.
Yeah, I thought about taking mine, but I was like, are you really going to go through first and pair them up again and then actually use them? And I was like, no, I'm probably not. And other people will have them, so people are familiar with them. So it's not like, hey, I need to show these to people or whatever. It's like, nope, we're not even doing it. I got a chance to go around, and I didn't get a chance to do it live because we were fairly busy all the days. Friday, I think it was. Yeah, that was the last day. So Friday, I got to walk around just a bit. Have you seen this product or heard of this product? And I don't know the name of it. It is the gentleman I spoke to was from Japan. There are these little clips that clip onto the side of your tennis shoes, and there's like a little loop that goes down in the heel part of the shoe. You saw these?
I have not seen them, but I've heard of them. I don't remember their name either, but
yeah. So basically, for people listening, what they do is they vibrate, and they have an app that is apparently pulling data from Google Maps for navigation, but you're using their app because that's how you connect to the shoe inserts or shoe clips. And they will vibrate. So if you're supposed to walk straight, both shoes will vibrate. If you need to turn in a specific direction, that foot will start to vibrate, which is an interesting concept. I'm not sure that I want them on my shoes, but I could see other people using them for sure.
Yeah, I could too. My feet, I don't think are sensitive enough for those type of things. And honestly,
They actually vibrate pretty hard.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, at least on the shoes. Now, the one thing that he did mention too, he's like, they had the shoes they had them attached to that I saw were like a low top, running shoe type deal, or like a New Balance type of shoe,
Hmm.
uh, which is a shoe I never would wear because I don't really care for low top shoes. Uh, so that's one thing. But he did say like, they should work with most tennis shoes. He said, now hiking boots, we haven't gotten there yet. And I was like, well, man, I got on work boots most days. Like I need you to work on that if you want me to wear these. Right now, their price point is like $860 though, so that's a little up there, I think. For a navigational aid, right? It's not going to allow you to not have to step out without taking a cane or your guide dog or anything like that. It's just an additional bit of guidance, which, you can get an Apple Watch or a Wear Watch for much cheaper and have it just tap your wrist.
So, anything else interesting that jumped out to you? If not, I will give some updates on my end. And
I saw the dot pad.
Ah, you did?
Yeah, I saw the dot
Okay.
pad.
Okay.
The refresh rate on that is freaking amazing, man. Like,
Hey, man.
they have nailed it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Who was demoing it, Dino?
I do not remember.
Was it Anat?
His name. We did talk to Anat.
Okay.
We talked to Anat, and then we talked to, I think what's his name? Tim? I'm sorry, Tim. Or if it's not Tim.
Yeah. It was a gentleman. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you get to see what your iPhone icons look like?
Yeah, that's what he was showing.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. And then there's a mode you can switch it into, so it just gives you the text instead of so you can see what's on the. Yeah, it and the refresh rate. Like he opened up a Kindle book for me and let me read the text of the Kindle book, and like navigating through that and the refresh rate. Like, and if I didn't hold my hand on it and feel the braille refresh, like I wouldn't have known that anything had happened because it is very quiet in addition to being very fast.
Yes, it is. I am impressed. Unfortunately, I don't have $7,000 for one, but it just goes to show us where the technology is going.
$6,000.
Oh, $6,000? Okay. I think I can scratch that together.
Yeah, man.
It's that extra grand that just gets in my way,
Yeah, I mean, look, take on a few more contracts, charge a little bit more for the voice work, and you'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very cool technology, especially for a multi-line display. They are working to do what they can to have it work very well with all the different screen readers. One thing I pointed out that it could be useful for if they could figure it out is like, hey, I plug this into a computer that's booted into the BIOS mode, and this is able to output, what's on the screen for me. Like this, that has always been my dream for a display.
Mm-hmm.
There was something like that several years ago, like 20-ish years ago, that I never got to see. And it was very expensive. And I don't know if it ever actually worked or if it was even the product that ever shipped, because I haven't heard anybody else talking about it. So I don't know what happened to that product. But it was supposed to also allow for that. But very interesting opportunities. We talked with them about maybe doing, let's say you're in VS Code, right? You want to look at a couple of lines of code all at once, right? So instead of it wrapping your lines around, you just see the beginning of 4 or 5 or 6 different lines, and then you're able to maneuver down those lines as you want. And they took that feedback as something positive to work on.
And that would help find indentation errors so much faster.
Yes, that's what we were talking. That's what me and JJ were talking about. Exactly that.
That is cool.
But other than that, I did not get to see anything else cool. I think that nobody else got to see. Went and checked out Ambitech's table and got to see their canes and some different tips, so I know what I'm ordering. But other than that, I think that's about it for me.
So you paid for the Bits AI class, right?
Yep.
Okay. So we did the AI class at Convention Live, and that was good. And Everything worked well. We got to record it. We actually recorded onto an H4E. The raw files are in Google Classroom, so you can go check those out if you haven't yet, which I presume you have not. There are 2 days. The third day is going to be posted probably in the near future. So that aspect went fairly well. The other thing is I did a fairly good job. Everyone was pretty happy with running hybrid events. I did 2 hybrid events at a time at ACB. So my primary focus was media related, which honestly is where I thrive. Man, I think I'm a little broken. I remember texting well, maybe a little bit more than a little broken. I remember texting Mallory early last week and saying, I think I strive on stress because, I was back and forth, stressed out about all the stuff. But ultimately, things went fairly smoothly. I used Lisi. We'll come back to Lisi in a moment. I used Lisi to help automate an aspect of the job for one of the computers. And then I ran down the hallway. It's a 58-second jaunt from one room to the other room. Yes, I did time it. And I tried to set up the same automation and the computer was broken because it didn't have Lisi on it. So that was fun because, when you implement those tricks, you're like, I want this to work everywhere. It should work everywhere. And that went fairly well. And then
I need to grab a copy of Lisi myself, actually.
So if you are interested, there's a discount available for people who want Lisi. And that's why I was going to go back to that, because when I got home, Jeff sent out. So I'm a reseller of Lisi Advanced. And normally Lisi is about $81, but for Bits members, I have it at $75. And how I did that is I set up a page on my website. I added a gravity form. It captures the name, the email address, the JAWS serial number, payment information, and then they process that. When you process that payment, then you get a receipt. I get a confirmation that you submitted that, and the order is automatically submitted to Brian at that point. There for a little while it was not, but I figured out that you can set up multiple notifications. So that was an ingenious thing for me, and you only have to capture, or you can craft the email however you want. So him and I came up with an email for me to send over to him to place orders, and then the notification automatically goes to him. ChatGPT is a liar, and it did lie to me, but I found a workaround. It told me, because what has to happen is after Damashe places an order, right? The order is submitted to Brian. I pay Brian's invoice because he invoices me. And then once I pay that invoice, Brian activates the license based on the JAWS serial number, which makes perfect sense. And I completely respect that. Brian then sends an email that gives me all the activation details, and then because I'm not sharing the customer's email with him, I'm just sharing the JAWS serial number because there's no need for him to have that extra customer data, and I don't want to just throw everyone's data all over the place. I give him what he needs, and he can give support based on the serial number, because if you don't have an active serial number in his system, then support's going to be limited, which again makes sense. So he sends me this email, and I was copying and pasting, and I did like 3 or 4 of those orders in the car from my phone, and I'm like, this is not going to work. I can't do this very much longer. So ChatGPT is like, oh, you can go and add a admin only checkbox that says fulfill, and when you check it, it'll send the notification. That is a lie, because I later on asked ChatGPT in a different conversation about Gravity Form's notification workflow. And Gravity Forms will not send notifications without additional plugins like Gravity Flow. It will not send notifications based on actions taken in a form. So if I go to the entry and I check the box that's hidden that says fulfill, it was expected that it would send that notification that was only sent if the admin checkbox is checked. However, what I did end up doing is just go into the entry now. I punch in the serial number into the search, and then I pull up the entry, and I go into that entry. I hit view, and then I go to notifications, and I check the fulfill checkbox, and then which is one of the notifications, and then I hit resend notification, and that goes to the customer, so they know that their order has been fulfilled, and then I'm good to go. But I was pretty impressed with my setup of Gravity Forms. Even though it's basic things, it's already automated some of my stuff, and it makes my life easier.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
That was what I and again, going back to the Bits AI class, I asked ChatGPT. It told me one thing. I tested that one thing. That thing did not work. And I said, hey, this doesn't work. And it's like, oh, yeah, it won't
You're
work
right.
if the form's already been submitted. I'm like, thanks. Thanks, GPT.
So just to extend the chat GPT being horrendously wrong at times. So AT guys started carrying the H5 Studio when it was released. We had orders in and we got those in the warehouse. We didn't get a ton of them, but we got some. And now fairly enough to be fair, other than looking at the information for it and putting the page up, which I need to go and fix, I haven't delved into like the manual or anything because I thought I remembered information from months ago making the page, like at this point about 2 months ago, creating the page for the product. I have not looked at that page since then, and I was absolutely 100% wrong. So if anybody listening came to the table and you asked me about the H5 and I told you, oh, it looks like the H6 except it's got bigger microphones, that is wrong. Absolutely wrong.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what it looks like. And where ChatGPT got it wrong is because I opened up a box. I told JJ, I was like, man, let me grab one of those. And I said, if I need to, I'll pay for it, but I want to, get some hands-on time with it. And he's like, just take it out as a demo. All right. So cool. We got us a demo out. I opened it later Friday night and I was like, oh, this looks nothing like what I remembered reading how it looked. Not at all. So you just mentioned the H4. Right. So this looks like a slimmer. So from left to right, the width across the front of it, slimmer yet taller H4 is how it is actually designed.
Okay.
So you have your two XLRs on the bottom. That's all it has is two XLRs on the bottom. It has the very large XY mics, on the top. Those are a removable capsule. Since I've been home, I have had a chance to grab my H6 and some of its accessories and test to see if they would fit. I don't know that they work yet because I haven't done that much testing, but they do fit. So it looks like maybe they'll be using the same, accessories, from the H6 to be able to also, put say a shotgun mic or, maybe more XLR ports on here, give you 4 instead of 2. But we'll see. I'll do some research because I do need to do some reading. However, ask ChatGPT, give me a thorough description of the buttons and knobs on the H5 Studio from Zoom. Now, some of these buttons already know what they are. We're looking at the transpose area, right? So your record, stop, play, rewind, fast, those buttons. We know what those look like because all the Zoom recorders have those buttons in the same kind of layout. It was so wrong about where stuff was. Apparently, according to GPT, the screw mount where you can, mount this onto like a tripod or something like that.
Yeah.
It's on the front, right below the record button is where it is. Instead of course, being on the back of the unit.
Okay.
Yeah. So stuff like that. It was horribly, horribly wrong. I will give you a brief description of this, and this is what I'm using right now to record myself. Yep.
Okay.
That is currently working as my interface and a backup recording over here for me because I'm tethered to a phone. So I said it looks like a taller, slightly narrower H4.
Okay.
But on the front, so there's a button at the top. So there's 4 knobs on the front of it. There's 2 at the top above the screen and then 2 below the screen. And they're actual big knobs that you turn. Now, what I know they're for now, at least one of them, so the one at the very top left is the gain for the XY mics or whatever attachment you have there.
Okay.
There's options in the settings for input settings when you're, setting up stuff for your mics, whether or not it's on or off, what's the recording, bit rate and all that sort, sample rate and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's an option to link or unlink the, gain knob. So it's linked on that one. I linked it to input, which is actually input 3. When you're connecting to Zoom. So, and just to back up for a quick sec, when we got on, you could hear me at first when I asked, could you hear me? And then I went to unchecking. I had already unchecked boxes, not realizing that it wasn't going to take effect in Zoom until I hit save. So I thought I had input 1 was the correct one to pick, right? So I had that one checked, and then I said, Mike, can you hear me? And you said, yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. I hit save, and then you could not hear me telling you that, yes, I can hear you. Because 1 and 2 are going to be your top mics, your XY mics or whatever attachment you have there. Input 3 is the one I needed to check, which is why you then could hear me again and why you hear me now, because I checked the right dilly. So there's a gain knob for the XLR inputs as well, which is cool. That's why I was able to kind of adjust my gain on the fly when I asked you were my levels good, which is something I actually like about this one over the other Zoom recorders that I've, had opportunity. And at this point, I think I've touched all of them except for that H2 and that weird H1 XLR. Like those are the only 2 I have not had any hands-on time with at all. Same layout of on the side panels. Like you got your line in, and then your headphones and your volume, and then your slider. The slider is very nested. Like it is a very slim button. It's not as pokey outy as the other ones are. Right side, you got your USB-C at the top, and then your navigation wheel and your enter button. And then right above your transposer, so below the channel 3 and channel 4 XLR gain knobs is arm for, it still says it's lying. The top mics is the middle button, and then the right XLR is the right hand button. And it's like it's simple enough and as much similar to the rest of them that I'm using it right now without knowing what all of the different functions are, because there are some different options here that we don't have on the other ones. But nice interface overall, I think. Yeah, and I don't remember why we went down that rabbit hole about this, other than the fact, Chat GPT lying about where the buttons are. And when I told it was wrong, it was like, oh, let me go look more. Oh yeah, so here's this and this is here. I was like, nope, that's not how that works at all. Because apparently the switch to turn it on and off, according to GPT, is a 3-position switch. When it's at the bottommost position, is off. The middle is on and the top is locked. And I was like, nope, that ain't how that works either.
Oh, so it's not like the other devices.
No, it is like the other devices. It is a spring-loaded switch where you pull it down and hold it for a second for it to turn on or turn off, and then if you push it up, that locks it.
Yeah.
Chat GPT
so it's
says
a 2-position switch then. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like the other ones. It's exactly like the other ones. But Chat GPT will have you think that this is like one of those switches that you move in different positions. So there's a bottom position, a middle position, and an up position.
Up position.
Yeah, but that's not how that works. So we're not listening to GPT anymore.
Nope, it just lies to you. Although, it's part of life with AI, and you gotta prompt it. I would be curious though if you would have started the live video mode, if it would have given you better responses instead of doing research on its own.
Yeah, I may try that just to see what it does. I'm also going to try something right now too. So if I ruin the recording, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Nope, didn't work. Okay, they have not taken my feedback. That pushing the arm disarm button while you're actively recording should mute that channel.
Yeah, that would be handy.
It would be.
So yeah, I told you about this DBX12, right?
The who?
The DBX12, the loudspeaker that I got.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I have that set up.
Man.
So
you did tell me about the speaker.
Turn a knob, and now you are on the loudspeaker. So when you talk, it'll come through there. And then, so I have that set up. I have Mac OS.
Hello.
Oh, what? Why are you not coming through there? Say something again. Hold on.
Hello.
Oh, that's why. Oh, that's interesting. Now you should come through.
Yes, I shall.
You are. You are. So, this kind of goes into my confusion slash what I have set up. So, let me give you a quick rundown of this board. On channel 1, I have my mic. Channel 2, I have the Vocaster output. Channel 3 has nothing. Channel 4 has nothing. Channel 5, because it has left and right channels, so I get stereo, has a dual 1/4-inch cable going into an 1/8 inch, which is going for that 1/8 inch male into the universal PMP sound card, which is the sound card that JJ sells. And so that's plugged into an OWC dock, which is plugged into the Mac, and currently where VoiceOver is going, and apparently you as well, because Zoom is set to that instead of where I thought it was. So when I was sliding the slider, I wasn't adjusting your volume, and I didn't think anything about it too much, but that's why that didn't work. And then channel 7 and 8 is right next to that, again a stereo. That's a dual 1/4-inch to an 1/8 inch, which is going over here to the Lenovo computer. So I have JAWS and all system sounds for that Lenovo computer on one slider. I have all default sounds from the Mac going to channel a different slider, so I can adjust that, and that includes VoiceOver currently. VoiceOver is specifically set to that PMP plug and play sound card, so that's always on this slider right here. I think that's 5 and 6. And then channel 2 currently has music assigned to it from Apple Music, so I can adjust that slider and turn that up and down. But it does also give me my voice in my headphones as well, because the output of the Vocaster is the input of the Vocaster as well. So it's not just the system sounds that are assigned to it. I'm going to go into the Vocaster software and see if I can disable that, because I don't really need to monitor myself from the Vocaster when I can monitor myself through the board itself. So, and then if I wanted to like send audio from the Windows machine, I just hit this button and then you have audio.
We're going to begin this demonstration.
So you just heard, we're going to begin this demonstration. I think you did, didn't you?
Yeah. What were you listening to when I dropped it?
The Bits AI class.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
Yep. So, but yeah, that's my current setup on the board, and right now I'm pretty satisfied with it. Like it's I forgot an important aspect of it. So the bottom knob on this board, because you have sliders, man, I had to use a board with just knobs on it at convention, and it re-emphasized to me that I need sliders on a board. I can't just have knobs on a board. Just saying. It's a little thing, but it's a big thing. The bottom of these knobs, directly above the slider, is pan, like you would expect. Directly above pan is, what is this? Studio, I think is the name of this, or control room. It's control room. And it works like the aux. So you just turn it up to unity, and now my voice is coming through the speaker because I have a 1/4-inch cable plugged into the control room output on the board, and then that's going to an XLR into the back of the DBX12.
Cool.
So, yeah, fun times.
So, outside of doing some hybrid stuff, what did you guys end up doing as far as like communication channels?
Same thing we did last year.
Just a bunch of
Group
text message groups.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Well, no, that's a lie, actually. So the way that we had it set up, and I don't think I'm breaching anything because it's been clearly documented, is we had a team lead, and she was in Arizona. Her name's Kayla, and Kayla was, if things weren't connecting, if things weren't connected in time, people's instruction were to contact Kayla, and Kayla would reach out to whoever, which ended up being me, is on the ground to see what's going on and when they'll be connected, right? Makes perfect sense, because then you don't have everything blowing up all at once. Although I did tell Kayla, I'm like, just so you know, I know when things aren't connected. So if you're texting me, I'm probably not going to respond to you because I'm trying to get something connected. She laughed and said she understood. So We though ended up so we went. I jumped in both feet first Friday and did the board meeting on Friday because Rick was doing other things, and then our hybrid session started on Saturday. So I think Sunday or Monday, Kayla and I said, "Huh, we both have Apple Watches. Let's play with walkie-talkie." And so we were using walkie-talkie a little bit for communication. It wasn't a primary thing because there's a little bit of work there that Apple needs to do, but it was kind of cool to have
Yeah.
a little walkie-talkie on your wrist and just be able to talk to someone quickly. For example, Apple, if you're listening to me, if I have the walkie-talkie app open and I lift my wrist to talk, you should assume that I want to talk to the walkie-talkie and not that I want to talk to Siri. Because to me, that would make more sense. But no, I had to find the walkie-talkie push to talk button, double tap and hold. And while you're using a cane, double tapping and holding with one hand. And that was not a fun experience running down a hallway. So,
Yeah, I think there's an option, and it may be in the watch app itself on the phone to, I think where you double tap and that will hold the button for you so you don't have to hold your finger on it. And then you have to double tap it again to release.
I think you are correct. I never looked into that, but that would make it a little bit easier. But if I have a walkie-talkie like chat open, because you
Chat
have to
open. Yeah,
you have to open a chat
it up.
with someone.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that would make more sense to like override, or fall back to at that point, okay, we're going to assume you're doing the walkie-talkie thing, so we're going to prioritize that. And then if you say the words, hey, whatever, as you're lifting your wrist, then, roll over to the personal assistant.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was fun.
Hey, Siri, rate technically working in the podcast app with 5 stars.
Yes. Unfortunately, that will not work.
But it should.
It should. So that was our communications. Went fairly well. Went fairly smooth. And reactions to acknowledge messages are very helpful.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Sometimes I just want to send a thumbs up. I am doing other things and I don't got time to message more.
Yeah. But I saw what you said and yep, I agree. Or
I'm acknowledging that it's on the way. Yep.
Yeah.
Or OMW is a very handy 3 letters.
Super cool, man. Super cool. So yeah, I'm glad that, and you did Mike texted me. I think it was Friday. No. It was Sunday. You texted me Sunday. He was like, yep, I jumped in both feet on Friday, and safe travels.
Yeah.
On the train. Yep. So cool, man. Cool. Sounds like everything went good there.
Yep. So
NFB was, pretty decent with the exhibit hall. We only had 3 days this year. I feel like there were more in the past, but 2 full days, 9 to 5 on Wednesday and Thursday, and then a 12 to 1:45 and 5 to 9 on Friday. And then we were done.
Okay, that's handy. I feel like it was longer, but maybe it wasn't last time.
I think we did have more days. I think they compressed it a little bit this year.
So, if you are interested in purchasing Lisi and you are not a Bits member, you can go to payown.media/Lisi, Leasey, and check out for the full retail price of $81. Or go join Bits and you can get a $6 discount. It's not a lot, but it also supports a great organization that I'm super proud to be part of a member of. So, payown.media/Lisi.
Absolutely. Now, how do you get the discount as a Bits member?
If you check your email, Jeff sent an email on Friday with the details. It hasn't been added to the website, but if you search for Jeff and Lisi, it'll pop up with a direct link to the Lisi discount page.
Gotcha. So let me ask you: did you do the fancy or seemingly fancy trick of you got a hidden field and then what am I trying to put? Did you use the URL to populate something in your form to get the discount?
No, I just set up
No.
two different forms.
Okay. Gotcha.
And changed the pricing on one to the discounted rate. Added a little bit of extra copy to the landing page to thank you for being a Bits member and give you access to your discount. And then so I have two different pages, and I just don't remember the URL for the Bits one, or I'd just tell you it, but it's longer.
Oh no, it should be longer because you can't just randomly show up there.
Yeah. But I'm doing more TikTok stuff, and I've been demoing Lisi on TikTok, and now that I got that Lisi page set up, I'm gonna start pushing that because ChatGPT and I were doing some math together, and I said, ChatGPT, I need to pay my car off. Here's how much I owe on my car. How many Lisi licenses do I need to sell? And it gave me one number. I'm like, that's a lot, but that's not unreasonable. I'm like, what if I tacked on a $45 training? And it's like, oh, that significantly lowers the amount of sales you need to make. And here's what you need to make now. I'm like, that's doable. Like, I could pay my car off with Lisi. And then there's a testimonial for Brian.
There it is, man. All right. Good deal. So I will grab Lisi. Now, I have a question that you may or may not know the answer to because as most listeners know, I did pick up a
computer for the blind
computer last year, which came with it was supposed to have Fusion. So I'm a little confused as to why I just see a JAWS license, but whatever. I'll figure that part out. Here's my question though. There's JAWS Home. I want to go up to professional. Is that a thing you can do during the upgrade, or do I have to go just start from scratch with a brand new license?
I think you can upgrade from home to professional.
Okay, I will take a look.
Call 800-444-4443 and ask.
I will just go to the web portal and see if they let me switch it. I
don't think they will, because I don't know if you can. Actually, you might be able to do a professional in the web portal. Yeah, here you'll have to go look.
I'll take a look, and if I can't figure it out, then I'll text that number, and then they'll.
I don't think that'll work,
but it should.
It should. Yes, it should. If they were using VoIP.ms, they could.
Yeah, or any number of other systems that can also do the same thing. But yes, VoIP.ms is definitely the better way to go.
Yes, it is.
How'd the backpack work out, man?
Worked out well. Oh my God. So I FedExed my clothes home. I learned a lesson this last week, and that lesson is when you ask for pricing, get all of the pricing. Because I ordered room service, okay? And I asked, because it was like 11 o'clock, my blood sugar was low, and I'm like, I need to eat something out before I go into the bar. So I called and I'm like, how much is a bacon cheeseburger with French fries? And she's like, $18.49. I'm like, well, hell, I'm gonna order that. That's $2 cheaper than what it is if I actually went down to the restaurant. I get my burger, I eat it, I eat the fries. I call Ira up and I say, can you read this receipt to me? And she's like, $36.92. Like, what the? There's taxes, of course, which makes sense. But there was also a room service delivery fee, which makes sense because room service is not cheap. Like my feelings are not hurt by that experience. I'll tell you, it's the most expensive burger I've bought in a long time, though. But then I went down to FedEx and I'm like, I need a box, and that was my bad. I said, I need a box. How much is it? She said $11.95. And I'm like, okay, I paid $20 to FedEx my stuff home from Anaheim. Things seem to be cheaper in Texas than what I'm used to. I had a steak dinner with drink and everything and spent $48, and that would have been like $100 or $110 over here on the West Coast, right?
And it probably was a better steak.
It was. So my thought was, okay, maybe FedEx is cheaper. And then she gets it, and she throws my little bag in it that has all my dirty clothes in it, and she asks for my ID. I give her my ID. She puts in my address, and she goes, okay, now your total is $81. I'm like, wait a minute. What do you mean $81? She's like, well, that's the most economic way. I'm like, I thought you said $11. She's like, no, the box alone is $11. So that was my bad. Should have never given her my card. But anyways, bag worked well. And it was a lot lighter coming home, and I found the joy in the fact that it was lighter coming home after spending that much money.
Yeah. So $81. Gee,
yeah,
that's a little rough.
It's a little, it was a little extreme. It was a little extreme.
You know what usually would work for you?
Mm-hmm.
is do pirate ship.
You can't do FedEx with pirate ship though.
You don't have to. So the FedEx at they will
Oh.
take another carrier's package.
Oh. I didn't even think about that. So buy the box from them because I didn't have a box. Spend the $11 on the box, and then I could have just went up and did like a UPS or USPS label. Probably would have cost me like $15.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, live and learn. I'll remember that for next time. And even if they wouldn't have taken it, I probably could have just dropped it off at the front desk. The hotel was amazing. Really appreciated the staff there in Dallas because it was the best staff that I've had at a hotel in forever.
So was I in Dallas for the Texas NLB or was that Houston? I think we were in Houston.
I think you were in Houston.
But I did the same thing there. Like I FedEx some stuff. Well, you UPS some stuff back to the house, and I just, got the help at the desk. I had them print out the label for me, and they labeled up my box and sent it on its way. And I left it with them in their hands without the label on it because I was running late for the airport.
Yeah.
And box showed up just like it was supposed to, and everything was great. So
good.
There's a tip for anybody if you need to ship something from a convention like that. Join pirate ship.
Yes.
And get your label. And usually, as Mike said, like the desk will help you work out shipping or because they usually have like a pickup person that's coming by there anyway, or the mail person that's coming by there anyway. So that's how they kind of get that package out for you. So it's always worth checking, doing a little research.
And no, FedEx will always be the most expensive. I don't know if that's accurate, but
FedEx seems to always be the most expensive. Yes. Now, here's another tip for you. If you're going to use it enough to make it worth your while, even on the odd occasion, because it doesn't cost you anything, go set up a FedEx account. Because you get discounts for having a FedEx account set up because you give them your account number.
Oh, okay. That's why she asked if I had a FedEx account. Okay.
Yep. Oh, I'm surprised she didn't give you the whole spiel about the thing, because when we were in Orlando and I had to ship my stuff back that I was shipping back to the house.
Yeah.
I went in to pay for it myself, and she's like, "Do you have a FedEx account?" I was like, "I think I do, but I'm not sure if it's still active." She said, "Well, if you get a FedEx account and you give me that account number, then we can get you a discount." I said, "Okay, well, I'll be back in like an hour."
Sweet. So lessons learned. Live and keep moving on, because things aren't always going to be perfect, and you'll learn. You'll make simple mistakes that can be costly, but you'll know for next time what to look out for. By the way, pirate ship users, USPS rates are drastically increasing in the next couple of days.
Oh, they're already up.
Are they? Because there was a notice about them going up by 51%.
Yep.
Yeah.
That went into effect, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday on the 12th.
Yeah, I think you're right. So
pirate ship users, UPS is probably going to end up being your cheapest option right now.
Yep.
In a lot of cases.
So that's all I got today. I don't know if you have anything else. I do want to talk to you off air about keeping our show between the 56 and 58 minute length, which I know can be challenging for us at times.
Never, Marty, never.
Well, I was thinking for some media distribution opportunities, but yeah. Which is 54:43.
Okay, well, it's a good show at about that length. We've done some very good shows within that time frame, for sure. I think we could do one of two things there, but we'll talk about that a bit off air. I want to thank everybody for listening, and as we have been consistently doing, we made sure we got this episode recorded. Stupid
it might
Spectrum.
Come out late on Monday, but it'll come out on Monday.
Stupid Spectrum notwithstanding, with their issues.
Hotspot held up though.
Yeah, man, the pixel,
like almost better than Spectrum does. I don't think you got any Zoom dropouts. Just saying, just throwing that out there.
I didn't have any. Your internet connection is bad. Things happen. Nope.
Yeah,
there's a little glitchiness here and there for a second, but that's Zoom. anyway.
Yeah.
That don't care what kind of equipment you got. That happens to people all the time. So hotspot held up really good. And I'm just doing the Wi-Fi hotspot, although the USB tethering is decent on the Pixel as well. Speaking of the Pixel, that was the question I had for you, but I want to ask you on air so that anybody else interested or that does not know about this website and podcast can also maybe go and check them out if they are interested in Android. What is that Android show that is out? And they also have a website where they have, kind of like apps, different categories of apps that are accessible on Android.
Oh, from an accessibility perspective?
Yeah.
accessibleandroid.com.
All right. Good deal. There we go. Very easy.
They have recently talked about Vivaldi browser, music folder player, Wakey, keep screen on, Honor 400 review, not sure what that is. Oh, it's a device. And then a beginner's guide to Samsung's TalkBack and how it differs from Google's version.
All you Samsung lovers should go check that out for sure, because there definitely are differences.
And there's another screen reader that I've seen mentioned, but I've never checked it out. But it's called, there's an article here, What's New in Prudence Screen Reader.
I should maybe check that out and poke at it a bit. We want to thank everybody for listening. This has been Technically Working episode 119.
Yep.
You can always send us email, feedback@technicallyworking.show. If you've sent any in since our last episode published or in the past 2 weeks, I haven't looked at it. I'm just going to be honest. But I will look at it this week and see what's going on for sure. But we thank everybody that emails in. Again, that's feedback@technicallyworking.show. You can find us on Mastodon. He is Payon, Payown, at dragonscave.space. I am Damashe, Damashe, at technically.social. And you can follow the show bot at tw@technically.social.
You can also use hashtag technically working, capitalizing the T and the W on social media as well.
Yep. And special thanks to our tip jar supporters. Had some interesting conversations with people about creation and direct support from your listeners. And we already knew how important it was, but just want to stress the fact that it does help. So we truly appreciate it. And if you're not a tip jar supporter, right now you can go to technicallyworking.show and click on the support link there, and that will take you to our tip jar. You can subscribe at a level that is comfortable for you, and we appreciate it.
5838.
All right, go home. The show's over.